Hello, it is the 17th day of January 2013. Welcome. And there's three different web pages. This one and two others regarding fiat money, Investopedia, as well as the series for dummies. I want to read some stuff that is in it. I will then move on to the Second Amendment. Should you get rid of your guns? Should you hold on to them? Go through an example and just use some logic and reasoning, to say the least, and then a conclusion on fiat money again. Okay, so let's look at the definition. Assume that you're doing your thing, you're say not awake, but then someone puts up the name fiat money, and you have no idea what it means. You go in the definition. If this is the first thing that you read, and you have no idea what it is, and you say, is money that is intrinsically useless, is used only as a medium of exchange, then you would say, that'd be kind of scary, you would think. And then you would see what was the gold standard keyword was. Why does money have value? And what's interesting is this bottom part in here. Because I kind of wish that I could be 16, 17 years old again and be able to write essays and school assignments and stuff like this, 911 inside job kind of deal. That would be really, really cool, to say the least. Anyway, Investopedia. It has a definition of fiat money as well. Currency that a government has declared to be legal tender, despite the fact that it has no intrinsic value and is not backed by reserves. Historically, most currencies were based on physical commodities such as gold and silver, but fiat money is based solely on faith. Yay. Most of the world's paper money is fiat money because fiat money is not linked to physical reserves. It risks becoming worthless due to hyperinflation. If people lose faith in a nation's paper currency, the money will no longer hold any value. Now, do you think people get together and say, hey, do you still have faith in fiat currency? Is it still worth holding on to? And I don't hear that. I think a lot of people have been programmed to think it's money, but also realize that there is no other way they could easily survive, as the system is totally dependent on it anyways. For Dummies series. This is what they say, the fiat system and how it works. The global monetary system is what's called a fiat system, in which money is a storage medium for purchasing power and a substitute for barter. Each dollar bill, euro, yen, gold, ingot, or whatever currency you choose enables you to buy things as the need or want arises, thus making the barter system one of pretty much mostly obsolete. Money that enables enterprises to develop and societies to establish sub-specializations, thus fostering a sort of dynamic progression towards the future. For example, because there was money, anyone who owned land produced their own necessities and traded the surplus with other people for the things they needed. Money changed that system by its inherent ability to store purchasing power, thus giving people the opportunity to make plans for the future and to specialize. In other words, if you're a good wheat farmer, you can specialize in wheat and buy your equipment, hire workers, and look for a neighbor's land to buy to expand your wheat farm. Markets and central banks then value the relative worth of paper currency based on the perception of how a particular country is governing itself, the current state of its economy, and the effects of the interplay of those two factors have on interest rates. End quote for now. You know, they seem to really upplay this right now, but if you can read the rest of the next three paragraphs, you will see again, like, why are you holding on to it? But most of the most of the world's money is called fiat money, meaning it is accepted as money because a government says that it's legal tender. And end the quote for now. I'll read the second half of this paragraph in just a little while. Accepted as money because a government says that it is legal tender. They can make dog crap legal tender, and they can say that's the case, force you into doing it, but are you going to do it? Maybe you will. I don't know. And the public has enough confidence and faith in the money's ability to serve as a storage medium for purchasing power. Again, hey, Dave, do you still have faith that this could serve as a storage medium for our purchasing power? Do people actually do that? Come on. A fiat system is based on a government's mandate that the paper currency it prints is legal tender for making financial transactions. Legal tender means that the money is backed by the full faith and credit of the government that it issues. In other words, the government promises to be good for it. Yeah. Fiat money is the opposite of commodity money, which is money that's based on a valuable. So the opposite of valuable is invaluable. A method of valuation that was used in the past. At times, the commodity itself is actually used as money. For instance, the use of gold, grain, and even furs and other products as commodity money preceded the current fiat system. Yeah, I think that pretty much explains a lot of it in itself. Now let's move on to the gun control. It's in the news. So the question is, should Americans turn in their guns? Would it be a wise move? And how many criminals, mentally effed up people would turn them in? Well, do you smell what the rock is cooking? Do you smell what the globalists are cooking? Because if you do smell what they're cooking, well, you may see something to be very fishy or sour. Well, here's an example. I would love it if Americans dispose of their guns, but in this time, is it really possible or a smart strategy? Imagine you live where it gets very cold in the winter, and you have a piece of technology that combats massive freezing temperatures that are colder than minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit to keep you warm. This technology is expensive on energy, a space clutter with much maintenance needed. As the years go by, the climate change has made weather warmer to the point where the temperature has failed to go below zero. Research states that it is unlikely for frigid cold weather ever to come back. Maybe they want to get rid of this technology. I would love it to have Americans remove their guns, but in this day and age, that would be just stupid if your plan is for defense. If crimes became so rare in future days and ages that you would be considered paranoid if you locked your apartment door at night, then why would you need guns? There is no threat within those stages, of course. Today, you would be stupid or forgetful to lock your doors, as we live in a fiat empire that ensures civil disputes to large degrees. Finally, have you ever heard the line, be thankful you have what you have? There are many starving people in Africa, as well as your own community. You have a house, car, and food on your plate. You should be grateful. And I used to think that way. Now I take it that you are greedy based on the definition of greed, which is an excessive desire to acquire or possess more than what one needs or deserves. Because we live in a fiat empire, people don't deserve to have good lives because of guaranteed debt. And therefore, if well over one half of the planet is much worse shape than you, it can be greed. And in order to have a magnificent lifestyle, that requires many to suffer for your wants. Now, in a different economic model that fails to guarantee debt and crime, then, well, this argument sure would change.